Alright guys, Bitcoin is going on another surge, and in this video you're going to realize if you should get in, why people are getting in, what the surge is all about, and how does this affect the US dollar. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so we are back with this massive surge with most all cryptocurrency, but this video is gonna be about Bitcoin. Now, it has been an investment in my portfolio for the better part of 3, almost 4 years now, quite simply because a friend told me I needed to get involved with this investment. When I made the investment, I actually had no idea what I was investing into. I was going on a leap of faith, and I thank my friend greatly for being adamant about what this could actually do and where it, being Bitcoin, and quite honestly all cryptocurrency, can actually go. Now, it is the end of 2020 and Bitcoin is on a major surge. As of this week, we are up north of $15,000 for one single Bitcoin. That is incredible. I remember back several years ago that we got north of $20,000 for one Bitcoin, and when it crashed, everyone said that it was over, that because you could not yet use it to buy, let's say, a cup of coffee, that it was never going to get the traction that everyone said it was going to, or what the hype was about, that got it up to $20,000 per one Bitcoin. But as you can see, as of this week, it is back, and it is back to stay. I will be the first person to say I've done more studying about it over the last several years just to make sure my investment was safe, because even at the low of $5,000 this year, I was still ahead of the game as I invested somewhat early. Now, it is really important for you to realize one thing. I am not an economist. I do not invest in all different things, and I try my very best to give you the actions I'm taking with my own money and how I invest my money, so keep that in mind when watching this training. Okay, so what would be the number one reason of its spike in value? Well, I would always go back to simple economics, which would be supply and demand. Bitcoin itself is in limited supply, or it has a finite supply of Bitcoin, meaning they're not going to continue to produce more and more, and that creates a very high demand and pushes up value because, again, basic economics 101, supply versus demand. When you have little supply, high demand, value goes up. So that is always going to be my first answer of why it actually is skyrocketing again. But also, you have several other reasons that we're going to get into here moving forward that are outside of the simplicity of economics. Well, let me rephrase that. They are still part of economics, and that is why it's happening. However, there's some different variables that are playing into effect, such as the election. So let's talk about that. I have done a decent amount of reading and watching news channels, finance channels per se, about this over the last 6 to 9 months, especially through COVID, as I'm always interested in what's going on in the business sector and the investing sector and how to invest my money. So I've been paying attention to it, and let me tell you and be straightforward with you guys. The people that are in the articles or featured on these finance channels are way smarter than me, not even a comparison. And so I tend to listen to them because they tend to be more involved in the day-to-day of how these investment strategies and or tools actually work. And so the investment strategy I'm talking about now and what is happening to cryptocurrency, they aren't my own ideas. These are actually, if you Google cryptocurrency surge or Bitcoin surge, you are going to hear from or see articles of a lot of incredibly smart people. And so this is a function of the studying I've been doing to keep up with my own knowledge of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So let's talk about the timing of all this. The presidential election seemingly is still unknown as a moment in time, and so that may have changed as you watch this video. So take that for what it is, but it is creating a massive amount of uncertainty with investors. And so there are a lot of people that are fleeing your traditional investments and driving, especially the dollar, and driving into Bitcoin or some variable investments because of their uncertainty. And this is true for two different things. One, gold is another large investment people are driving up the price on because they want some certainty, and Bitcoin is the other. And so if you actually look at the two and you compare the two, which this is not what this video is about, but if you do compare the two, they're both on a huge surge. And in large part, a lot of the experts are saying that it is because the uncertainty of who will be president and what is going to come depending on who actually gets into office. This is interesting to me because well before I was born, you know, the dollar was always a very valuable asset, and so I've done some research about this. By no means am I an expert, but people are now leaving the dollar and don't have as much faith in the dollar as, quite honestly, it continues to be printed. It is not a limited resource, as I just discussed, which Bitcoin is. There is not a finite end. And so people are saying, you know, the value is really going to be in something that doesn't have an unlimited resource to be produced, such as the dollar, and they're going to jump into something that is real and finite. So this brings me to the third issue of why I believe that the surge is happening, which is going to be this inflation issue. As you have seen before, government has stepped in, whether it be from 2008 where they had to bail out the banks, or maybe even during this coronavirus and all of the PPE money and all the other money that they basically printed to give to small business owners and others for that matter. They are printing money to help out the economy. Well, that creates inflation. Now, we have not seen it exactly right now as I'm shooting this training, but please be sure with the amount of money the government has been printing, the Fed has been printing, there is bound to be a massive sense of inflation. And I'd be interested, I'm very interested to see if that somehow can be tempered some way, somehow, so it doesn't do what some extremists think, which is gonna be, you know, crumble the entire financial system. Now, if you're like me and you don't want to do a ton of research, you know, I don't study this day and night, I do enough to make sure that it's a good investment for me, then you really just want to, you know, understand what this is all about. You want to do a little bit of research for sure, as I am not advising in one way or another. I am just telling you why I make the investments I make. But what I can tell you, because this is such a big global subject these days, it is on news almost daily, and if it's not on news directly, it'll be on some sort of financial news almost daily. And so I would encourage you to start watching and educating yourself about that, because here is what another reason of why this big surge is because it's so heavily documented, and whether it be on social media, whether it be on the news or other outlets, people are starting to have this keeping up with the Joneses effect, and it is a very real thing, and it is a fear of missing out. That's a big reason why people are jumping in and investing more and more money into Bitcoin specifically, because going back to the first point, it is a finite resource, and they don't want to be the friends or business partners or associates who are the ones that missed out on this incredible opportunity. Now, I don't know where this is gonna end, and yes, this is an incredible opportunity, and yes, I've done very well because I invested several years ago when it was much, much lower than it is today. But, you know, people have said and have projections for this to go into like 6 figures, in the sense of one Bitcoin would be worth 6 figures. That seems pretty crazy to me. I don't know if I fully buy into something like that, but these days, what is real? What could happen? I don't know. And lastly, the thing that actually really gives me comfort is big companies are now supporting it, such as PayPal and Square. When they've actually now said that they are going to take cryptocurrencies as a valuable, real form of payment, that gave me a lot more comfort with my investment. And as soon as that became cemented, then I really felt good about the investments I've made, and why, again, I want to make sure I produce this video for you guys to think about your own investments in the strategies that you guys are making. Now, let's talk about kind of my idea of how I've invested within Bitcoin and the US dollar and where I see this going. I actually think Bitcoin specifically is going to be a good investment. Just like anything else, I'm cautious to some level. I do not put all of my money into Bitcoin. I do have a small percentage of my investment going into Bitcoin, and I also have my money working elsewhere. I diversify my money, but I do believe Bitcoin is going to be around for the long haul, most likely for the rest of my life, if not much longer than that. Now, where the value ends and whether it's going to continue to rise the way people are suggesting it will, I don't know that to be true. The 5 or so reasons I believe this surge is happening that I just mentioned are very, very real, and I do believe there will be a continued rise for my own sake, and I'm investing more of my own money into it because I do believe it will continue to rise. There are the experts that are already thinking by the end of this year, 2020, it will surge past its peak and highest peak back some time ago, north of $20,000 for one Bitcoin, which is absolutely insane to me. But who's to say? Now, what does this mean for the dollar? What does this mean for the Fed? What does this mean for inflation? What does this mean for businesses worldwide? You know, it will remain to be seen. There are other cryptocurrencies that were meant for payment, like Ethereum. There's so many cryptocurrencies out there, and quite frankly, I don't study them all. But there's a lot going on in this space. But one thing I can tell you is when companies like PayPal and Square start to really value them as a real form of payment, that gives me comfort to make it a real solid investment for myself. Now, if you're liking this video, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm always here trying to give you the best practices in real estate, business, entrepreneurship. And I think this is a real topic to talk about, whether it be with your friends, whether it be with me. I encourage you to ask me questions below in the comments, whether it be finding more articles, reviewing more, doing more of your own research to figure out if it's a good investment for you. But I can tell you my strategy is a small percentage within Bitcoin, another small percentage with overall other cryptocurrencies, and then other investment strategies along the line, including, guess what? Gold. And so figure out how you are making your investments. You should be more educated when you do decide to make those investments, but hopefully you liked this video. The surge is incredible. It should, per the experts, be surging past $20,000 by the end of the year. I don't know if that's going to be true or not. But again, if you like this, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Also, if you are in real estate investing, there's a link below, thescienceofflipping.com. If you want to just talk more about your business and have a strategy session with me, happy to do it. Hit the link below, thescienceofflipping.com, fill out the form. Happy to talk to you guys then. Make sure to check out my other videos. I'm dropping videos every single day, so make sure you start binge watching my videos because I'm going to continue to deliver high content for you guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.